The last thing the transhumanists want, the very last thing, is for the kind of black people that we used to be to come back. Okay, the kind of like when the safest place in the world is in your black mother's womb, and when you get out of line and she whoops you, and she doesn't have nothing to whoop you with, and she used the flat side of a kitchen knife to give you a spanking. It doesn't leave a scratch. Okay, I don't think that these liberals can't handle, like, they would spend the whole time being afraid of being corrected, having somebody get on your ass for stuff that they didn't really. So it's like, if you look at the kids of disciplined parents, right, the other kids think that they don't get to do nothing fun. You know what I mean? Like, you have to turn the TV volume way down. You're not allowed to eat like Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops. You're not allowed to have all these gimmicky shit. And it would be no fun to sleep over their house. It'd be no fun to do a slumber party because their parents are all disciplined, and you say something out of line and they heard that. You know what I mean? And they ostracize you, and fucking, you just don't get to be you. You don't get to be a flamer. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to be a flamer. So that would be nowhere if old time black people came back and started, representing the majority. They would be out. They would be out. They don't like that shit at all. They could try to act like they're in solidarity and everything like that, but then try to take away those things that they've been groomed to for no reason. They're not getting paid for the baby parts selling. They just know that it's not cool to point those things out. They're doing it for free. So because it's out of sight, out of mind, though, it hasn't affected them. So really, they don't care, and they will always remind you that they don't care. But it's, who cares if you don't care? It's not the point that you care or not. It's just the point of whether or not you can speak truth to power and not get censored. So there's this new party, right? The Kennedy people. I don't trust them either. Seem like they want to be like, they still want to be progressive. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you can't have that. Sorry. It's not that I'm chomping at the bit to be super conservative either. I don't even want to be nothing. But I don't want to be popular as bad as they want to be popular, and I don't want to be liked as bad as they need to be liked. And so they oblige. I say, okay, because what's good to them is not the same thing that's good to you. So they're like, more for me. But what you understand is that I last like longer. And one day I'm gonna stumble across these people, and they're gonna be repeating the same type of lines that I'm repeating, but they don't want you to be there to hear. They don't want you to see it. Like, they don't want you to see them. They're not fucking with you anymore. Well, if you're so mean, then why do they need to come to realize what you've realized then? And I get that we were all slaves to Egypt at one point. So I'm not gonna lay a bunch of death at your feet, but you are playing with curses. Because my reason for my allegiance or alliance is not the same reason for where you're perceiving what it is. So you just want to be a flamer. Like, it's really, you just ain't thinking on it. at the same time, you can't force people to who are just living their best life to think on these heavy things all the time that are in the media and in the news, because it is terminally online. If that's, maybe they deserve, so there's two things, right? You could treat something like it doesn't matter because out of sight, out of mind, or it really is out of sight, out of mind, and so it shouldn't matter until it does to you, because on the basis that I'm on, you could be able to detect, so you don't have the knowledge fallacy of like perceiving everybody has the knowledge that you have and then not being able to tone it down or whatever. It's urgent to go out and wake people up. It's not urgent to wake people up. You're gonna get beat over the head with clubs, and you deserve it. Because just as much as I can conceive that there are people who've never heard of Margaret Sanger, and so they think that abortion is like a dignified right, that is something like it can't be stripped away, except for the medical procedure where it's life-saving. I've never heard of that before. You have a little bit more time to figure things out. Because I got a little more time. Because I had a little more time to figure things out. So I guess you do too. But people with my perspective beliefs are usually stigmatized as being like totalitarian. So fucking with me, I'm not gonna turn down the TV so you can't watch cartoons. I'm gonna throw the TV out the window, right? You're not gonna have it at all. I'm not gonna take away your sweet cereal, sugar cereal. No, I'm gonna take away breakfast. I'm gonna take away breakfast. Like, it's all hyperbolic and shit. But really, is that they just don't want to see the old time type of black people come back. Because really, you'll lose the plot if you get into a theosophical or political debate with me if you are on a different basis, on a basis with exploiting a crisis or being petty, or a basis of just speaking truth to power and having some solutions. If you're going to complain, and you're going to have to offer some solutions, and you do, and you know. But then that thing about voting, like, if you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain. I'm not so sure about that anymore. I think if you don't vote because you are you think that people should be more licensed and trained how to vote, you're not being groomed out of your position. You're being trained how to aggregate the type of circumstances that you want, and doing it legally, and doing it legally. That's like what we should be trying to do. But it's no question of legality in some. It's a question of decency, because like we have precedent for law. We don't have law, right? Only law is animal attraction. But the rest of the laws are like what, physics, science laws or some shit. Okay.